Good morning, welcome back. We are now starting our 10th week of obtaining our master key. We last week we went over part 9. In part 9 he explained more about the process of visualization and how it is a product of the imagination. Okay, so your imagination is your mind's way of creating things in your mind's eye and seeing it as something that could be before it actually is. Okay, you're creating that vision, you're creating that reality, that mental reality first before you could actually take the initiative in making it a physical, tangible reality. Okay, but it requires the work of your hands. Okay? And with visualization, we went over this story about this guy. His name is Frederick Elias Andrews, and his experience with the power of visualizing. Okay, when he was younger, he was a sick boy. The doctors told his mom that he might not even make it, that even the doctor's son had the same exact sickness, and he ended up passing. But he used the power of his visualization and using affirmations that are in accordance strictly with the truth of things. Okay, so excuse me, sorry. I just finished eating some oatmeal, and we had our shake of protein. Where was I? He was using his affirmations. I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. He would use that affirmation every morning and every night and believed in it, and he built that in his mind. He created that image in his mind, and he embodied it in the physical world, and he literally became what he was thinking about. And yeah, that was the main lesson in lesson 9, and how to take what it is you're visualizing and you have in your mental world, and pushing it out and bringing it into a tangible fact. But aside from all that, we are now starting with the next week. This one is week 10, and today is the 17th of January 2016. Okay, so if you get a thorough understanding or the thought contained in part 10, you will have learned that nothing happens without a definite cause. You will be enabled to formulate your plans in accordance with exact knowledge. You will know how to control any situation by bringing adequate causes into play. When you win, as you will know exactly why. The ordinary man who has no definite knowledge of cause and effect is governed by his feelings or emotions. He thinks chiefly to justify his actions. If he fails as a businessman, he says that luck is against him. If he dislikes music, he says that music is an expensive luxury. If he is a poor office man, he says that he could not succeed better than some outdoor he could succeed better at some outdoor work. If he lacks friends, he says his individuality is too fine to be appreciated. He never thinks his problem through to the end. In short, he does not know that every effect is the result of a certain definite cause, but he seeks to console himself with explanations and excuses. He thinks only in self-defense. On the contrary, the man who understands that there is no effect without an adequate cause thinks impersonally. He gets down to bedrock facts regardless of consequences. He is free to follow the trail of truth wherever it may lead. He sees the issue clear to the end, and he meets the requirements fully and fairly, and the result is that the world gives him all that it has to give in friendship, honor, love, and approval. Now part 10. Abundance is a natural law of the universe. The evidence of this law is conclusive. We see it on every hand. Everywhere, nature is lavish, wasteful, extravagant. Nowhere is economy observed in any created thing. Profusion is manifested in everything. the millions and millions of trees and flowers and plants and animals, and the vast scheme of reproduction, where the process of creating and recreating is forever going on, all indicates the lavishness of which nature has made provision for man. That there is an abundance for everyone is evident, but that many fail to participate in this abundance is also evident. They have not yet come to a realization of the universality of all substance, and that mind is the active principle whereby we are related to the things we desire. All wealth is the offspring of power. Possessions are of value only as they confer power. Events are significant only as they affect power. All things represent certain forms and degrees of power. Knowledge of cause and effect, as shown by the laws governing electricity, chemical affinity, and gravitation, enables man to plan courageously and execute fearlessly. These laws are called natural laws because they govern in the physical world. But all power is not physical power. There is also mental power, and there is moral and spiritual power. Spiritual power is superior because it exists on a higher plane. It has enabled man to discover the law by which these wonderful forces of nature could be harnessed and made to do the work of hundreds and thousands of men. It has enabled men to discover laws whereby time and space have been annihilated and the law of gravitation to be overcome. The operation of this law is dependent upon spiritual contact, as Henry Drummond Wells says. Quote, "In the physical world as we know it, there exists the organic and the inorganic. The inorganic of the mineral world is absolutely cut off from the plant or animal world. The passage is hermetically sealed. The barriers have never yet been crossed. No change of substance, no modification of environment, no chemistry, no electricity, no form of energy, no evolution of any kind can ever endow a single atom in the mineral world with the attribute of life." End quote. Only by the bending down in this dead world of some living form can those dead atoms be gifted with the properties of vitality. Without this contact with life, they remain fixed in the inorganic sphere forever. Huxley says that the doctrine of biogenesis, or life only from life, is victorious all along the line. The Tyndall is compelled to say, "I affirm that no shred of trustworthy evidence exists to prove that life in our day has ever appeared independent of antecedent life." Physical laws may explain the inorganic. Biology explains the accounts for the development of the organic. But of the point of contact, science is silent. A similar passage exists between the natural world and the spiritual world. This passage is hermetically sealed on the natural side. The door is closed, no man can open it. Nor organic change, no mental energy, no moral effort, no progress of any kind can enable any human being to enter the spiritual world. But as a plant reaches down into the mineral world and touches it with the mystery of life, so the universal mind reaches down into the human mind and endows it with the new strange, wonderful, and even marvelous qualities. All men and women who have ever accomplished anything in the world of industry, commerce, or art have accomplished because of this process. Thought is the connecting link between the infinite and the finite, between the universal and the individual. We have seen that there is an impassable barrier between the organic and the inorganic, and that the only way that matter can unfold is to be impregnated with life. As a seed reaches down into the mineral world and begins to unfold and reach out, the dead matter begins to live. 1,000 invisible fingers begin to weave a suitable environment for the new arrival. And as the law of growth begins to take effect, we see the process continue until the lily finally appears, and even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Even so, a thought is dropped into the invisible substance of the universal mind, that substance from which all things are created, and as it takes root, the law of growth begins to take effect, and we find that conditions and environment are but the objective form of our thoughts. The law is that thought is an active, vital form of dynamic energy, which has the power to correlate with its object and bring it out of the invisible substance, from which all things are created, into the visible or objective world. Excuse me, sorry. make sure there's no more light in there. So I'm very, very mellow this Sunday. We had a very, very long week. One of the other trainers called off the entire week, and we were taking care of all of his clients. And yeah, it was a lot. Okay. Even so, a thought is dropped into the invisible substance of the universal mind, the substance from which all things are created, and as it takes root, the law of growth begins to take effect, and we find that conditions and environment are but the objective form of our thought. Excuse me again. Wake up, Corey. Wake up. The law is that thought is an active, vital form of dynamic energy, which has the power to correlate with its object and bring it out of the invisible substance from which all things are created into the visible or objective world. This is the law by which and through which all things come into manifestation. It is the master key by which you are admitted into the secret place of the Most High, and are given dominion over all things. With an understanding of this law you may decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. It could not be otherwise. If the soul of the universe as we know it is the universal spirit, then the universe is simply the condition which the universal spirit has made for itself. We are simply individualized spirit, and are creating the conditions for our growth in exactly the same way. Wow. That sentence was really, really astounding. I would like to read it again to you guys. I am going to read it again. It could not be otherwise. If the soul of the universe as we know it, is the universal spirit, then the universe itself is simply the condition which the universal spirit has made for itself. We are simply individualized spirit, and are creating the conditions for our growth in exactly the same way. This creative power depends upon our recognition of the potential power of spirit, or mind, and must not be confused with evolution. Creation is the calling into existence of that which does not exist in the objective world. Evolution is simply the unfolding of potentialities involved in things which already exists. In taking advantage of the wonderful possibilities open to us through the operation of this law, we must remember that we ourselves contribute nothing to its efficacy. As the great teacher said, quote, It is not I that doeth the work, but the Father that dwelleth in me. He doeth the work. End quote. We must take exactly the same position. We can do nothing to assist in the manifestation. We simply comply with the law, and the all-originating mind will bring about the result. The great error of the present day is the idea that man has to originate the intelligence whereby the infinite can proceed to bring about a specific purpose or result. Nothing of this kind is necessary. The universal mind can be depended upon to first find the ways and means for bringing about any necessary manifestations. Come on, Corey. We must, however, create the ideal, and this ideal should be perfect. We know that the laws governing electricity have been formulated in such a way that this invisible power can be controlled and used for our benefit and comfort in thousands of ways. We know that messages are carried around the world, that ponderous machinery does its bidding, that it now illuminates practically the whole world. But we know, too, that if we consciously or ignorantly violate this law by touching a live wire when it is not properly insulated, the result will be unpleasant and possibly disastrous. A lack of understanding of the laws governing the invisible world has the same result, and many are suffering the consequences all the time. It has been explained that the law of causation depends upon polarity. A circuit must be formed. This circuit cannot be formed unless we operate in harmony with the law. How shall we operate in harmony with the law? Unless we know what the law is. How shall we know what the law is? By study and by observation. We see the law in operation everywhere. All nature testifies to the operation of the law by silently, constantly expressing itself in the law of growth. Where there is growth, there must be life. Where there is life, there must be harmony. So that everything that has life is constantly attracting to itself the conditions and the supply which are necessary for its most complete expression. If your thought is in harmony with the creative principle of nature, it is in tune with the infinite mind, and it will form the circuit which will not return to you void. But it is possible for you to think thoughts that are not in tune with the infinite, and when there is no polarity, the circuit is not formed. What then is the result? What is the result when a dynamo is generating electricity? The circuit is cut off and there is no outlet. The dynamo stops. Whoa. Wow, that was... So we are all channels. We are all... He said we're all individualized spirit, and we're all our own individual channels for the universal mind to work through. And in a way, he's also comparing us, as with the electricity in the circuit. We are the circuit, essentially, where the universal spirit passes through and is able to manifest itself in the creative world, the material world. Kind of like the electric circuit. If there is no outlet, how is all this electricity going to be able to extend itself out? And that's essentially what he's comparing us to. The dynamo stops when it is cut off. It will be exactly the same with you. If you entertain thoughts which are not in accordance with the infinite and cannot therefore be polarized, there is no circuit. You are isolated. The thoughts cling to you, harass you, worry you, and finally bring about disease and possibly death. The physician may not diagnose the case exactly in the way. He will give in some fancy name which has been manufactured for the various ills which are the result of wrong thinking, but the cause is the same nevertheless. Constructive thought must necessarily be creative, but creative thought must be harmonious, and this eliminates all destructive or competitive thought. Wisdom, strength, courage, and all harmonious conditions are the result of power, and we have seen that all power is from within. Likewise, every lack, limitation, or adverse circumstances is the result of weakness, and weakness is simply absence of power. It comes from nowhere. It is nothing. The remedy then is simply to develop power, and this is accomplished in exactly the same manner that all power is developed, by exercise. This exercise consists in making an application of your knowledge. Knowledge will not apply itself. You must make the application. Abundance will not come to you out of the sky, neither will it drop into your lap, but a conscious realization of the law of attraction and the intention to bring it into operation for a certain, definite, and specific purpose, and the will to carry out this purpose will bring about the materialization of your desire by a natural law of transference. If you are in business, it will increase and develop along natural laws. It will increase and develop along regular channels. Possibly new or unusual channels of distribution will be opened, and when the law becomes fully operative, you will find that the things you seek are seeking you. This week, select a blank space on the wall or any other convenient spot from where you usually sit. Mentally draw a black horizontal line about 6 inches long. Try to see the line as plainly as though it were painted on the wall. Now, mentally draw 2 vertical lines connecting with the horizontal line at either end. Now draw another horizontal line connecting the 2 vertical lines. You now have a square. Try to see the point perfectly. When you can do so, draw a circle within the square. Now place a point in the center of the circle. Now draw the point towards you above 10 inches. Now you have a cone on a square base. You will remember that your work was all in black. Change it to white, to red, to yellow. If you can do this, you are making excellent progress, and will soon be enabled to concentrate on any problem you may have in mind. When any object or purpose is clearly held in thought, its precipitation in tangible and visible form is merely a question of time. Now we're going to end this with the quote written by Lillian Whiting, and this says, "The vision always precedes and itself determines the realization." Remember, first it exists in here, and then it comes out in there. Okay. Part 10. What is wealth? Wealth is the offspring of power. Of what value are possessions? Possessions are the value only as they confer power. Of what value is a knowledge of cause and effect? It enables men to plan courageously and execute fearlessly. How does life originate in the inorganic world? Only by the introduction of some living form. There is no other way. 5. What is the connecting link between finite and the infinite? Thought is the connecting link. 6. Why is this so? Because the universal can manifest only through the individual. 7. Upon what does causation depend? Upon polarity. A circuit must be formed. The universal is the positive side of the battery of life. The individual is the negative, and thought forms the circuit. Why do many people fail to secure harmonious conditions? They do not understand the law. There is no polarity. They have not formed the circuit. 9. What is the remedy? A conscious recognition of the law of attraction with the intention to bring it into existence for a definite purpose. And then 10, which in our case is question number 100, study question. Okay, what will be the result? Thought will correlate with its object and bring it into manifestation, because thought is a product of the spiritual man, and spirit is the creative principle of the universe. And here's one quote by one of my favorite authors and writers, and also lecturers. And he was a transcendentalist. He actually started the group. For those of you who know Emerson, you're really going to like this. Okay. Emerson, a vivid thought brings the power to paint it, and in proportion to the depth of its source, the force of its projection is the force of its projection. Okay. So that is the end of part 10. Thank you for watching this with me. My nose has been a little bit runny and stuffy all day. I've been got something that we've been fighting all weekend, while at the same time trying to take care of someone else's clients. And we actually got a lot of them to switch over to us. They said that they liked the way we did things a little bit better, which was really awesome. Really, really cool for me. I had a really, really long week. Yesterday, my neighbor, he showed me some more boxing. My head is a little bit sore too. I can feel it all in my lobes. Oh, last night I just felt all the blood in my head, and it was just like, man. I still kind of feel it this morning. And yeah, we regardless of how we feel, we said that we are going to do this. I'm probably going to be saying that within every single video, because every single week, and the farther I get along, the harder it gets for me, especially because things are getting a lot busier with my career. It's getting more and more challenging to keep making the time to keep going over this. And but like I said, we're here to do what we said we were gonna do. This morning, I really didn't want to do it. I didn't feel like doing it. My mind is still waking up. The day is still getting started. I just finished eating. I'm still recovering, and yeah, thank you if you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. We are doing this not only for ourselves, but also for you guys, so you could actually see our progress and see this type of information and see how it changes people and how it gives people it helps people realize what power that they have from being created in the image of the universe. Okay, because you are an exact replication of the universal spirit. Your mind is the universal mind. Remember, the same exact thing, same in kind and quality. The only difference is the 1 degree. Okay, you are the outlet of the infinite stream. Okay, your mind is the same, just yours is finite. And the original spirit, the universal intelligence, is infinite. Okay, we are all channels for the universal substance and conscious energy to flow through. And yeah, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Now, remember, we're going over one part every single week. We're staying on that one part throughout the whole entire week. We are on week 10. That's 2.5 months. 2.5 months I've been doing this, and we've also been reading from our book Wallace D. Wattles, where we're still in the Science of Getting Rich. We're on chapter 12 now. Yesterday we read you chapter 11. We're now on chapter 12, which is called Efficient Action, and this is written by Wallace D. Wattles. And the Science of Getting Rich was written back in 1910, 6 years before the Master Key System. And a lot of the things they talk about is exactly the same. It's very similar. Wallace talks about the original substance, that's how he classifies it, and that is the same as the all-mind, which Charles F. Handel talks about. The infinite intelligence from which all beings live and move and have their being, which me and you and I live and move and have our being. In every word we speak, this intelligence, this universal energy, God, if you will, this substance, is receptive to every word that we are saying. Like, for instance, as I speak, I am literally just creating those vibrations within my throat. My throat is vibrating at a certain frequency, and then that in turn comes out, and it's traveling along this thing. It's called the ether. In God's mind, if you will, it's traveling along God's mind, and it is being picked up by your mind. You know, by your ears, and your nervous system is interpreting it, and your mind is interpreting it through its own computer system. Remember, the brain and spinal cord are the organs of the conscious mind, and those are the organs that help perceive the 5 physical world, or the 5 senses that help perceive the physical world. Because there is both the spiritual world and the physical world. Okay, and we live in both at the same time. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of DMT. DMT stands for dimethyltryptamine, and dimethyltryptamine is known as the spirit molecule, and this molecule is literally found within everything. Every single thing in existence has this molecule. So that in turn just kind of leads you to the root of the matter, that this here and now is the spiritual world, and all things are manifested from this spiritual material, the spiritual substance. And it is spirit that holds this book together. It is spirit that created these books. It is the spirit that this wood is made out of. It is spiritual energy. It is energy. It is all energy. And it can never be destroyed, and it was never created. It just always was and always has been. The only thing you can do is change form. With all that being said, you guys, remember every day going over that chapter throughout the entire week, and we still have some more of this to go over with you. Right now, it's my Sunday. I finally had the day off. I work Monday through Saturday. I'm there every day, all day, the majority of the day, from 7 in the morning to 5, as late as 6, and as late as even 7, sometimes 12 full hours. Because as a trainer, we are the trainer. We are the trainer. You want to get trained, you come to us, okay? That is how you have to be. That is how you could be the best at what it is that you want to do. That is how you have to have your passion. Because when you're passionate about something, you want to be there for your people. You want to be there for those that need your help. You want to be the one to help those that need your help. And you want to be the one that they go to for that help. That is the only way you could reach out to people, and that is the only way you could really help people. You must have confidence in yourself, and you must take the necessary work to actually be able to be in that position. Okay? And not only that, you have to make sure that you're speaking properly, you're remaining professional, you're showing interest, you have enthusiasm, you're motivated, you're inspired, because in the fitness area, You know, the gym is not just for your muscles. The gym is also mental. You're also training your mind to, just getting your body through the last 5 reps. Okay, a lot of that is mental. It doesn't just come from physical. Okay, so we're training people mentally, physically. We're inspiring people mentally and physically to keep pushing through, to push through the pain. We're helping people get their health right. We have to be healthy too. You must be that part before you could. You must be before you can have. You have to be a trainer. You have to live a trainer. You have to think a trainer. You have to literally, breathe fitness, live fitness, be fitness, because that is what we are teaching these people. That is what we are here to extend out to them. Everything in the healthy life. Health stems from eating right, exercising, doing yoga, meditating. All that incorporates to be with health. When you meditate, you're bringing your mind in line with your body. You're relaxing yourself. It is a form of health. It's wellness. You want to be healthy. You want to be wealthy. Okay, internal prosperity is the real prosperity. It is key. Just remember, all things are created from within. Make your world within harmonious, loving, and happy. And the external world has no choice but to reflect that to you, because that is just who you are. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and end it there. I made this video pretty long. And if you watch this, thank you. I really don't know how many people even watch this. But it's out there, and we're still doing what we said we were going to do. And, yeah, so with that being said, I'll see you guys on the other side of the galaxy. Alright? Take care.